ass on gun patrol.
Hold this thing for this.
You guys don't live in ladders. You guys don't know how to act, bro.
Which high school are you from?
Huh?
Which high school are you from? So it's our understanding that all of the area high schools participate in this, so that's why you're seeing different waves. Well, they're coming from different directions. As soon as most of the students are through, we'll go up and listen to the speechifying. Tonight on the Coalition Radio Network. Of course, Tina Peterson with RAMP, Real Access Motivates Progress. And Chaz Galenda's got a very special guest on tonight, Glenn Valentine. From the Pro-Way community here in Rhode Island.
I don't know where the fuck. Huh?
Tina's on at 7 o'clock at coalitionradionetwork.com or facebook.com/the Coalition Radio. And Chaz will be on at 8:30-ish. On same set, facebook.com/the Coalition Radio. Here comes another wave. You can tell they are, in fact, getting a police escort. Which high school are you from?
Right out my pocket. Let's go!
Another wave of students, again, police escort.
Not the government.
We're going to move on up bear with us as we walk up to the Speechify. If you're watching and you're not from Rhode Island, the governor and the administration has been sending conflicting messages about the presence of SROs, student resource officers, which is widely opposed in cities like Central Falls, Pawtucket, and Providence by the community, as well as school safety measures being implemented as a reflection of what just happened in Texas. Go to facebook.com/The Coalition Radio if you wanted to see the entirety of speeches and government presentations from yesterday. Folks, can I just squeeze in there a little bit, please? Can I just squeeze through? Media, just gotta. Oh, can I squeeze through? Excuse me. Oh, can I just squeeze through? I'm sorry.
They don't know the struggle that we're living in. They don't know what it feels like to have your life threatened. I am a gun survivor, a gun violence survivor. I know what guns have done to people that I love. Violence have done to people I love. And I can tell you that the only thing that is motivating any of the gun pieces of legislation right now, and I want to speak also to the abortion issue, but the only thing that is motivating them to do anything is people power and pressure, and you have to keep it up. But once this session is over, you know when we get this stuff? On election day. We need to stop asking them to fight for us. We need to fight for ourselves. We need to show up for politicians that are going to fight for us. We need to vote them out if they're not going to do what's right. And we need to stop begging for crumbs. We're done. We're done. The same exact thing happened for the Equality and Abortion Care Act. Right now in Rhode Island, if you are on Medicaid or if you work for the state of Rhode Island, if you choose to have an abortion, if you are a person that can get pregnant, and you choose to have an abortion, it will not be covered. Today, we could change that in the state. And they have chosen not to. I sat in a committee hearing full of people who said they're pro-choice, who were endorsed by Planned Parenthood. I was in a committee hearing across from Democrat women who voted to hold the Equality and Abortion Care Act study, hold it for further study, to kill it. It will not happen. If it's not going to happen now, then when? When? I think got really upset at me when I challenged them with that. And one of the things that I said to them, which probably got me in a lot of trouble, I said, I dare you. And I have the same call to y'all. I dare you all to stand up. I dare you all to stop begging bad politicians to do good things. I dare you all to get involved in elections this year. I dare you all to challenge the people in power and keep challenging them. And we should not be in this situation. We have a chance to have a government that reflects us, and we need to stop asking them to represent us and be the representation. I dare you all to start considering yourselves to run for office, considering yourselves on school committees, consider yourself in city councils, and start getting involved in campaigns now, because that is the only way we get what we need. The last thing I will close with is this. We are only accountable to the power we have now. And right now, the people that have power have consistently been okay with us dying. Right now, Rhode Island has the most money this state has ever had. We have $1 billion from the federal government. We're sitting on millions of dollars in surplus, and they're okay to let us die. That's the point blank period. This state is built on violence. And the only way we do that is in marching in solidarity with peace in our hearts and commitment that we will not let up. We will not back down until we get a government that represents us. And that doesn't just mean begging for the people to act like they care. Get people who care in office. That's why I'm not running alone. That's why I'm running with amazing candidates across the state. If you want to get involved, please reach out to me. Please reach out to some of the folks here that will definitely point you in the right direction. We march, we rally, then we hold them accountable, because the power is the people, and that is you all. And we're going to do that this year. No more. Never, ever, ever should we be back in this situation again. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Luis Daniel Munoz. I live in Pawtucket. I grew up in Central Falls. I graduated Central Falls High School. And I want to say that this is about youth power. This is about youth power, because youth voices are always left out of the conversation. You know, growing up in CF is interesting because people talk about gun violence, they pander to issues when it's on the news. But how many people in this space, and you don't have to answer the question now, have seen bullets fly by? How many people right here, right now, have lost friends to gun violence? You know, those of us that have, those of us that know the fear that we felt in those moments know that this issue should have been resolved a long time ago. I was in 8th grade when Columbine happened. And there are still schools in this state that have broken doors. There are still legislators in this state that love to talk about assault weapons, but aren't going to take it a step further and talk about ballistic weapons. Limit the bullets to save a few lives instead of taking the bullets out altogether. Whatever anybody believes, the conversation and debate needs to be had. Counselors not. Counselors not. Counselors not. Counselors not. Students in Providence and Pawtucket have been asking for mental health resources. And Republicans want to say that this is a mental health issue, but they cut funding. They say that urban city kids don't have the right parenting. They say that urban city kids don't want to do the right thing. And yet we're telling them what the right thing they should be doing is, which is giving us counselors and not us. This is about youth power. After this ends, when the cameras are gone, people are going to forget that you were here. The only way to make them remember is to continue to make noise. The only way to make them remember is to run for their offices. Put pressure in the power positions that they want to keep. Take them out of the power positions. If they hide in the buildings, go in the buildings. If you do not do this now, if you don't start now, you will be 37 one day, where I am right here. talking to another group of amazing, powerful youth, telling the same story, having the same call to action. I'm running for governor in the state of Rhode Island, but CF is who I am. Warriors is who we are. And I call all of you today to show Rhode Islanders across the state how big warriors, how big hearts, how fiery hearts you all have. Okay? So God bless. Don't let up. Don't be pandered to. Push the boundaries, make people uncomfortable. Because I'm telling you right now, if you do not, you will be here one day where I am.
Everyone who spoke here today is right. We're tired, and we can't keep asking. We can't keep begging because clearly they do not care. Clearly they do not listen. So I ask them, are we next? No. Are we next? No. No, we're not. Because we are going to elect officials that will fight for us. And if we can't find them, we're going to run ourselves. Isn't that right?
Not too long ago, people were trying to overturn Roe v. Wade. I'm pretty sure it's still going on. I have one question for our legislators, for the people in power in America and not just Rhode Island. Why do our lives matter only when it's time to strip the rights of women? Why do our lives matter when it comes to strip the rights of women? Why are our lives less than when it comes to keeping your guns? How many times will we have to die for you to consider guns the problem? How many times do I have to watch my sisters, my brothers die in school because y'all don't want to put the damn gun down?
Mr. Munoz, I think his name was, he was right. This whole crowd is out here to protest, gun violence and, the control of guns, and we're also fighting for, the right for an abortion, women's right, a constitutional right, he is right. We, the present youth, we have all the power in America to make a change for the present future. Every time youth makes a change, we can scaffold off of that and make such a great impact for history. We can all be in history books and know to be one of the greatest generations to make an impact on this country. We can make America into its true greatness, as they say. We can make America truly great if we fight now to control guns, do abortion, give constitutional rights to every single person, no matter gender, sexual identity, race, no matter what. We can impact this world. It all starts with us the youth. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Linares.
Hi.
We're here for a reason. You guys, you stormed out of school. We have 3 schools right now. Bax, Tolman, and Shea. You're here because you believe in something. You believe in the rights of all humans. Those little kids in Texas, barely starting out, killed by the guns that this country allows because they profit off. They profit off. They'd rather profit off guns than keep our kids alive. You'd rather let women suffer with pregnancies and give children the lives that they don't deserve than let women have the right to have abortions. You don't let us do You don't give us the rights we deserve. So I ask everyone here, please, please, keep yelling, keep reaching out. We don't want to be next. We don't want to be next. And we don't want to risk any more lives in the future. So I'm asking you guys, please, please, keep standing up for what you believe in. Like he said, we don't want to be here in 20 years doing the same thing over and over and over again? This can be prevented right now.
Yes, it can.
They have to listen to us. They have to trust in us. They have to think about us and not them, not their wealth, not their mansions, not their great parties. They have to think about us and the rights and our future. Thank you.
I ask legislatures to protect our kids, not your guns. Protect our kids, not your guns. Protect our kids, not your guns. Protect our kids, not your guns.
Protect our kids, not your guns. Protect our kids, not your guns. Protect our kids, not your guns. Protect our kids, not your guns. Protect our kids, not your guns.
Because we're truly tired. We here are all so young. It shouldn't be like this. Kids our age, we're not made to experience so much grief, so much pain. I look into this crowd and I know all of you, all of us, we're all hurting. And I'm sorry. I am so sorry. I love all of you dearly. And yeah, thank you for coming, everybody. I just ask that everyone gets home safely. And yeah, thank you all for coming out.
If you want to be part of the movement, please come talk to me. There's a lot to be done. A lot to be done. There's places for your voices now. There's places for you to show up now. Please come talk to me.
Are you Zachary?
Yeah.
Can I interview you really quick?
Pat Ford, thanks for giving me the heads up. My cell is on there. Call me anytime. Anytime you got anything going on, I don't care what time it is. Just whatever. Just call me.
It's easier if we all just do it at once.
Oh, once.
Bring this together. What's happening or not happening in school that made you want to bring this together?
So I brought this all.
We're going to ask you just a really.
Yeah, so I brought this all together because many students came to me as individuals and asked me, like, what are we going to do? Because we looked to our administration and they weren't doing much. We had a few grief counselors in school, but there wasn't even so much as like a moment of silence or anything over the announcements. And so I felt, and I talked to many of my peers, and we were all tired, and we needed a vent. We needed somewhere to place all of our energy and all of our anger and all of our pain. And so then I organized this over the course of just 3 days through telling people, text, and then I put out a flyer last night, and we had a very great turnout from these 3 schools.
You surprised?
No, I'm not surprised at all because I know the youth of Pawtucket. I know their spirit, and I know that they will come out when they're called upon.
You feel endangered in your school?
I don't feel safe walking in my city. I look to the news and I see nothing but pain. I see nothing but people attacking people that look like me, hurting kids that look like me.
Talk to us about the SRO issue here in Pawtucket. The Pawtucket police have been dogged by complaints from citizens and students alike for several years now. This is sort of murder capital USA. What's it like to have in your schools?
Absolutely. I'm all for counselors, not cops, and the removal of SROs. people in my school feel as though there's not much that the SRO provides. What we really need is mental health resources and counselors. My school has just under 900 students, and you know how many counselors they have? 2. There's 2 counselors in our school for over 900 students.
Talk about the physical conditions in your school. Are you noticing deterioration in terms of doors or physical infrastructural security?
Absolutely. As one of the 2 major high schools in Pawtucket, my school was last renovated. We had our bathrooms renovated about 4 years ago, but our school, aside from that, our school had a last major renovation, and I believe it was the 70s. Our schools are falling apart. We have windows that cannot open. We have doors that do not have alarms. There's very poor infrastructure in our school. It is not a place where kids feel welcome. It's not a place where kids go and feel like they want to learn. It's a place where kids go because they have to.
Do you feel safe in school?
I do not.
Did you have any pushback from administrators or teachers, or are you supported tonight?
I did not have much pushback from administration, mainly because I tried to keep it as low-key as possible and only among students. They found out over the course of this morning. I believe there was an email sent out from the Pawtucket School Administration to parents, just alerting, not really pushing back. There wasn't much pushback. They didn't stop us at the doors or anything. And for that, I thank the administrations at our schools for letting us do this.
There was an announcement yesterday by Governor McKee saying that all school districts are going to be doing walkthroughs, conducting surveys as to identifying these potential safety hazards, what's going right, what's going wrong. What's your message to those superintendents who will be conducting those surveys through your own high school?
I ask just to listen to the students. The students know what we need. Listen to them now. Involve us in all of your talks. Involve us in all of your committees, in all of your discussions. The students know what we need, and yeah.
There's a group of parents that identify themselves as Parents Rhode Island, primarily from rural school districts, things of this sort. They're complaining that, number one, this wasn't a student-organized event, and that, number two, because, as they describe, your school is filled with, and I'm quoting them, this is not a personal statement, that your school is illiterate, that you shouldn't be out here today. What's your message to these fascist parents that are making these comments?
Absolutely. I saw some of those comments, and I just want to say that this was 100% student organized. I organized this myself along with a few of my peers. It was 100% student organized. No one pushed me to do this. No one pushed the students to do this. And as far as the literacy rates in my school are low. They are low, and that's not because we're protesting and standing up for our rights. That's because we have lack of funding. That's because our school infrastructure is falling apart. We don't have enough books for kids in our classroom. Kids have to share and double up on books. It is not because, and just because a student may have difficulty reading or is improficient in math, doesn't mean that he or she cannot stand up for their rights.
And could you say and spell your name, please?
My name is Zachary Pinto, Z-A-C-H-A-R-Y-P-I-N-T-O.
One question. Who do you fear most if there's fear out there in the streets? The Pawtucket police or your neighbors?
Honestly, I do have a deep fear of the police because of the color of my skin, because of the way I look. I know that people like me have been targeted for many years. My neighbors, I know they have my back, but then also there are neighbors and there are people in our community that have deep-rooted hate for youth, have deep-rooted hate for people of color, have deep-rooted hate for members of the LGBTQI+ community, and that genuinely scares me.
There's an officer, a gentleman by the name of Officer Dolan, who was arrested and having been captured on video, attempting to, and actually did shoot another young man from another town. There had been complaints levied by the community for a number of years about Officer Dolan's belief, including videos sent to the Pawtucket administration. Does this surprise you or shock you?
It does not surprise me. In my young life, I've heard many rumors about the Pawtucket Police Department and about their failures, and it does not surprise me that an officer like that can go so easily and stay within the system. And that is why I believe we need to repeal things like Leobor and not reform it. We need to have a full repeal and have our officers held accountable.
On the walk over here, you stopped and you read off a list of names of your peers with, like, I think they died.
Those were the victims from Texas that I was reading.
Texas. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, thank you. All right.
I do want to confirm, so you're a junior student over at Shea?
Yes, I'm a junior at Shea.
Thank you, Zachary. I'm also Zachary here from the Penn. So you mentioned, school resource officers and the need for more counselors. You mentioned a little bit about the infrastructure for schools and ensuring that, all doors are alarmed, windows can be open for safe escapes, things like that. Are there any other immediate, things that we can do to make our schools safer that you can think of?
I don't know. I think those are kind of our main concerns. The school conditions alone, aside from the security and how to get in and out of school, the school's conditions alone are just so poor. We don't want schools to feel like prisons. They're supposed to be institutions for learning, and they're supposed to be institutions for education where kids feel safe and where they feel excited to learn. And right now, that is not what the schools of Pawtucket feel like.
All right, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it. I hope you're appreciative of the support you had here today.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anything else to know, or good?
Yeah, no, I think we're good.
Excellent.
Yeah.